Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wan Muhammad Amar from Section 2 Sociology of Education class. So, inshallah, today I will share my understanding about the differences between four Islamic scholars in their perspective in education. So, there are Ibn Sina, Al-Ghazali, Ibn Khaldun, and Al-Farabi. So, firstly, let's talk about the definition of education according to four Muslim scholars. The first one is Ibn Sina. So, according to Ibn Sina, education is the learning process that focusing on the development of a man's potential to its perfection in physical, in intellectual, in spiritual, in order to prepare the learners to live together in the society, which is how they working with each other by giving or collect a benefit through education. So the second one is Al-Ghazali. According to him, Al-Ghazali actually he didn't state any specific definition, so we just understand it from the purpose that has been made by him. So according to Al-Ghazali, the definition of education is the process of instill the knowledge to a person from early age that can make him closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So everything you learn in your life, physics, philosophy, mathematics, science, all of them can make you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third one is Ibn Khaldun. From Ibn Khaldun opinion, the definition of education is consists of the moral, intellectual training and teaching of human to bring out the potential with men to bring out the potential to men for a better character of personality. And the last one is Al-Farabi. He said that the education concerned with human soul prepare individual from early age to member of society and own perfection. So there is no difference between these four scholars in terms of education process, but which is to install the knowledge to individual to produce a good man. But there is just a little bit different in their main focus of installing the education. When we look at the definition, Ibn Sina and Al-Farabi, they are focused more on the society development. While Al-Ghazali, he just mentioned that in his definition, so he focused on the spiritual, which is to make a person closer to Allah by intellectual through education. While Ibn Khaldun, he focused more on the individual character development, whether in moral or intellectual. So that is the difference between the definition for Muslim scholars. So now I would like to talk about the objective of education from four Muslim scholars. Firstly, I want to mention that the objective from Al-Farabi and Ibn Khaldun. Okay. Firstly, I want to mention about the objective of Ibn Khaldun and Al-Farabi because their objective is quite similar. So the objective of education from these two scholars, Ibn Khaldun and Al-Farabi, is developing the individual skills, knowledge, characteristic, in order to have a better life in the society. While Imam Al-Ghazali, he divided the purpose of education into two things. The first one, long-term purpose, which is to be closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which means everything you learn, the longer you learn in your life, the more you gain the knowledge, the closer you are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second one is short-term purpose, which is human achievement based on the talent and proficiencies. So the education purpose is to get the good achievement of human life. So let's move to the Ibn Sina. He also divided the purpose of education into two. The first one is the cultivation of human intellectual, which is to cultivate human into the high potential. Human intellectual into the high potential. So that is actually the last objective of education. The second one is to prepare children for their colony life. It is all about survival, how they gain the knowledge in order to survive in their life by getting a job, earning money, and so on. So now let's move to the method of teaching in education from these four scholars. And of course, there are so many elements in this session that where four Muslim scholars mentioned so many methods of teaching. So I just pick the most important point for each scholars. So we will start from Ibn Sina. According to him, there are 5 factors we have to consider in the process of education, which is faith, good manner, wellness, literacy, art, and profession. So, truth learning process, the parent, according to Ibn Sina, the parent is play an important role to educate their child, and after that, the teacher. Same goes to Al-Ghazali, but he added that the teacher or parent duty is not just the teacher or parent is not just the one who teach their student or the teacher. According to him, to teach their student, according to him, it is also for those who learn something, they have to teach others. They also have to teach others if they learn something. There are so many advices from Al-Ghazali. One of them is to follow the Prophet's example in spreading the knowledge without expecting any rewards and so on. So another one is to encourage students to use their own judgment in learning, which they are not just copying others. So move to the Ibn Khaldun. Ibn Khaldun, he didn't encourage the method of teaching that cannot develop the student thinking skill and problem solving. For example, memorization, which can create students who cannot practice their knowledge in real life when they just doing memorization without thinking the ideas. Memorization is good in term of another part, like you memorize Quran. It's good, but in other way, it's not good for your study. So the last one is Al-Farabi. According to him, method of teaching should match with the level of the learners, which means as the teacher or parent, we have to know our children or student level of study before installing the specific knowledge to them. So there is the difference between 4 scholars in terms of education, in terms of definition, objective, and method of teaching in education. So if someone asks me which scholar do I prefer between these 4, in my opinion, we cannot just take one of them while ignoring others' opinion. because for me, every scholars comes with their ideas and they have their own advantages. So we can take from all of their ideas, combine and restructure it. We can restructure it for the education future. I think that's all from me. Thank you.